over the last 20 years, I've been testing different protocols and reading the research, making changes, experimenting with them again, and then running them through groups. And that's where we are today. So if you've been around for a while, you've heard of this. This is the ultimate fat burning strategy. And in 10 weeks of this protocol, the average fat loss was 18 pounds. Now, some people lost 30, and one person actually lost 40 pounds in those 10 weeks, which was extraordinary. They had a lot more to lose. Now, some people only had 10 pounds to lose. So the average is a little skewed there. So it's really wherever you're starting, if you have more to lose, you're likely to lose more than someone who has that last 10 pounds to lose. But this is a short-term protocol. You could do it for a week as a tune-up, or you could do it for as long as 12 weeks. After 12 weeks, if you still have more fat to lose, you would go to what's called a refeed, and I'll teach you that later on. But for this month of August, I want to invite you to do the ultimate fat burning strategy. At any point, you can stop doing it, but I want you to learn it and really get momentum. So if you have excess body fat you want to lose, but you want to protect your muscle because you know how valuable it is, especially for longevity and high quality of life. And so if that's what you want, but you also are about self-mastery, because that's what this program is. The side effect is body transformation, health, energy, vitality, peak performance, but really it all comes down to self-mastery, mastering the 3 pillars of creation. The only 3 things that we have control over are thoughts, emotions, and actions. In every ancient text, every philosophy, they have something that's similar to the Holy Trinity. And when you go deeper in it and you look at what's really being said, it's this. It is the mastery. It's the awareness, control, and eventual mastery of your thoughts, emotions, and actions. In some cultures, it's called heart, head, and hands. Heart being like love-based emotional states that you care. You have a desire to create something. Then head is focused. You got to focus your mind. You got to tell the story of success and triumph. You can't be telling stories of limitation. And then when you align emotion with thought, focus with feeling, now you can take intelligent, effective action consistently. And what's great about the body is it doesn't lie. It just gives you direct feedback and it doesn't happen instantly. So you have to be a master of your mind in order to transform your body. And there's a saying I heard a long time ago, and it just stuck with me. I learned it in the late 1990s. It says, before you change your body, you must first change your mind. So keep that in mind. See the pun there? Keep that in mind as we go through this. So I'm going to invite you to do this for the month of August. And then we'll reassess. I'm going to do it until I hit my next goal or for 10 weeks. That I always plan in advance and I make it a game. So I'll tell you how I do that. You'll probably hear me say many times, win the day, because everything comes down to today, this day. It doesn't matter what happened yesterday. If you messed up yesterday, you start again today. But most people don't do that. They get off track. They're all in or all out, and they're mostly all out. And so when you add it all up, they're not making any progress. And so they have a short little burst where they feel better about themselves and then they fall off. And so we're not going to do that. It's about doing the little things each day because they add up. Because the truth is this, every day you get a little better or you get a little worse. You get a little sicker or you get a little healthier. You get a little weaker or you get a little stronger. But it's so small that you don't really notice it. You know, there's a study, I like to share this one. It was a 20-year study. It was done with women, but it doesn't really matter. But for this exact study, that's what was done. But they measured their body composition and body weight when they were in their early 20s in college and then at their 20-year reunion. And what they found is on average, they only gained 10 pounds on the scale, which is like half a pound a year, which would be almost impossible to notice, honestly, right? Because just water weight alone fluctuate way more than that in the day. And so, but when they measured their body composition, they found something more nefarious. They actually lost 20 pounds of lean muscle and gain 30 pounds of fat. So, and from a health perspective and from an aesthetic perspective, those are massive differences. If you just gain 10 pounds of fat, no big deal. But if you lose 20 pounds of muscle and gain 30 pounds of fat, you are going to have some health challenges. You're going to have lower energy. It's going to be harder to live as your best. And that's really what we're here to do. So we can learn, we can love, we can create, we can laugh, and we can serve, we can give, we can grow. That's what the purpose of life is. And if we're not doing that, we start to feel weird. We start to get sad. We start to get depressed. We're here to create things. We need to be the creators of our circumstance. And that's why the mental aspect is so important, because it always starts there. Everything, like with your body, like you have a vision for it. And if you don't, you're screwed. You got to have a vision. Otherwise, you won't be pulled towards it. You got to use sheer will, and that's exhausting, and it doesn't last. And so what we want to do is get this vision, like, okay, a month from now, just take the next bite. Don't get too far ahead of yourself. No, don't think I got to lose 100 pounds or I got to get super shredded. But what can you do in a month? In a month, what if you lost 5 pounds of body fat and you gained 1 pound of muscle? Now, that doesn't sound like a lot. 5 pounds of body fat is the size of your head. I'm not joking, because it's fluffy, it's expansive. I actually have a model of this in my office. And so a pound of muscle is it's like, get like really lean hamburger meat, really lean beef, like 97%, and take a pound of that. That's how big it is. It's really condensed. It doesn't take up a lot of space. So your measurements would change, your waist would change, your hips would change. This would change, but the scale may not only show 4 pounds, but it's bigger than that. Plus, in order for you to lose 10 pounds, you first got to lose 1. Before you gain a pound of 10 pounds of muscle, you first got to gain 1. So it's these little things. We need to celebrate the victory of today. Hey, what are the 5 things that I need to do to really move the needle? Like, what are those things? And it's actually quite simple. So that would be part of your, what we call process goal. So there's 2 types of goals. There's outcome goals, which I want to lose this much fat and gain this much muscle, just as an example, right? But what are the process goals? What are the habits? What are the small daily actions that will get you there? Like if you want to be a writer, it is well known that if you want to be a great writer, you need to sit your ass down and write each day to where it becomes habitual, where it becomes easy so you can be productive. So really prolific writers do that. They put out a lot of words on paper. And so they'll start with something very simple. They won't say, I'm going to write a chapter a day. They'll say, I'm going to write 1 page at 9 a.m. each day, and I'm going to sit in this chair. Like, because they made it so specific. When do you do it? 9 a.m. Okay, what are you doing? I'm writing. How much? I'm writing 1 page. It's like, okay, how many words is that? It's 250 words about double space. I'm like, okay, great. And then you start doing that, but you never really stop at 250 words because you're not like counting them as you do it. But you get in a groove. It's that act of starting. Like, when you don't feel like training, what do? Like, hey, I'm going to do 10 minutes and then reassess. That's the 10-minute rule. What usually happens? Like if you're not sick and all these things, you end up doing more. You end up doing the whole workout usually, because it was that initial resistance, that internal resistance, that lamb mind, that fearful mind is like, oh, if you feel bad, you're going to feel even worse. Don't exert yourself. Movement is medicine. If you know how the body works, you would know you need to move. There are cells in the body, tissues in the body that are avascular. They have no way of removing byproducts and no way of getting nutrition except through movement. That's why when someone's bedridden, they got to do physical therapy. And what do? They move them around. They move the bodies around. I did this. Or they put a vibration platform in the bed and they'll turn it on so that gets the lymph moving so that people don't get all kinds of problems, all kinds of health problems because they're not moving. It's vital for life. And that's why muscle is so important. That's why this program protects muscle and often adds it. So the average fat loss over the 10 weeks in the last study was 18 pounds. But the average muscle gain was 4.4 pounds, which is incredible, just so you know. So does the program work? The protocol work? Yes. It's never not worked, except when people don't have the mindset to carry it through. And also how to adjust it when life gets more challenging. So the basis of this program is threefold. It's mind, like I just mentioned, learning to control your mind. Control the stories you tell. Tell the stories of triumph, not the stories of limitation. Secondarily, it's about transformation. Improving your health, your fitness, your performance. Having a body that inspires you, it maybe inspires others, but you're proud of it and you're a role model for those that are in contact with you. Because most people are going to be inspired by how you live, not by what you say. And then the third thing is spirit. We are, in essence, when someone dies, I remember when I was a little kid, my grandma passed away. We were in the hospital. I was 5, 6, 7, somewhere around there. And my grandfather was like, she's gone. Grandma's gone. I'm like, no, Grandma's right here. Because I thought we were all our bodies. And so when you died, I thought your whole body went away. I didn't know. And so I was like, no, it's right there. And they explained to me, see the machines, and they had an EEG and EKG on her, and there's electrical activity going through there when you're alive. And then when you pass, that electrical activity, that electrical spark goes away. That's your soul, your spirit, you could call it. But that's who you are. That's your true identity. You are a spark of God. And when you know who you really are, that changes your identity. You're not your body, because when you're a body, anyone can sit there and point. Everyone's programmed to think I'm supposed to look like Rambo if I'm a guy, and if I'm a girl, I'm supposed to look like, I don't know who, like Angelina Jolie or someone. I don't know. But you know what I mean? Like some superhero type of person. That's what we're all trained to do because of movies and stuff, I think. But it's all nonsense. We need a body that's healthy, that's functional, that we honor each day, that we give it what it needs, both the nutrition, the sleep, the rest, the good vibes, to not judge it all the time, but to love and appreciate our bodies, and to do the little things, to train, but not in a dumb way, not just killing yourself, stimulating the body, challenge it, stimulate it, but don't annihilate it. That's what this program's about. So if that sounds like something you want to get into, let's talk about it. How does it work? Well, it's super simple. The training is already done. You don't really need to change the training because I built all the principles in there that you need. You got to show up, you got to be consistent with the training, and you got to challenge your muscles, especially on those Monday, Wednesday, Fridays, those strength resistance training days, because that's what protects our muscle. That's what speeds the metabolism. That's what produces lactate, and that lactate is great for our brains, for neurogenesis, neuroplasticity, but it's also great for growth hormone release, which turns back the clock. It allows our bodies to regenerate and heal, and also it assists fat burning. And so let us start to tell a story of what's going to happen this month. At the end of the month, where you're going to be, how you're going to feel. Think about it right now. Where are you going to be? Are you going to lose 5 pounds of fat or more? Say, I'm intending and I'm determined to follow the plan. I'm intending to train according to schedule 6 times a week, ideally in the morning. That is my intent, and I'm going to do everything I can. If an emergency happens, a real emergency, I'll do it whenever I can, but I will do it no matter what. I'm not going to overdo it. I'm going to follow the plan because I know there's a science to this, and I'm going to stick to it. I'm going to prove that it works by living it, not just talking about it, not dabbling, but actually following the plan. And then I'm going to hydrate my body. I'm going to take my body weight in pounds and cut it in half. That's how many ounces I'm going to have a day as a minimum. I'm going to target it. And it could be unsweetened tea. It could be a cup of coffee in the morning, whatever it is. It's fluid, though. It doesn't have to be just water, but mostly water. And then I'm going to joyfully challenge myself in these training sessions too. And if I'm going to focus on getting enough sleep. And if I don't get enough sleep, I'm still going to train, but I'm going to adjust the intensity. I'm going to do a flow workout. Or if I'm really pushing the limits and I haven't slept and there's all kinds of crazy stuff, I might just do the 10-minute minute rule on those days. I'm going to shift gears, but I'm going to learn to master this by being flexible and resilient and agile and mobile, both in mind, body, and soul. That's what I'm going to. See how I'm telling the story of triumph? I'm telling you what I'm going to do in advance, because life is like a movie. It's a game, and the more you play it, the better you get at it. I learned this from being an athlete, being a fighter. My dad was a fighter and an athlete, and I've trained them for many, many years. And I know what it's like. There's a moment in time when you step onto a field, or you step in an arena, or you go in a cage or a ring, and it's like all your training, everything comes down to this moment. And if you're not there mentally, or if you mess something up with your training, it's going to show up. So it really matters. So you got to be on point. You can't leave it to chance. But I learned eventually, it took me a long time to learn this. I was stubborn and I didn't see the correlation, but eventually I learned that, hey, life is a game. And what we do in the arena, we do every day, but we just don't give it the same intensity and we don't give it the same meaning. So look at this month as doing the ultimate fat burning strategy. So you'll have the PDF that's going to outline it for you exactly. Also, when you go through it, read that, understand it, know what you're going to eat each day when you get up. Plan ahead. If you don't know what you're going to eat when it's time to eat, you're in trouble. Because if you wait too long, you're not going to make a great decision most of the time. Even if it's me, and this is my profession. If I wait and I skip like 5 meals and I'm starving and then there's pizza, I'm probably going to eat it because I need to eat, right? And that's not the ideal choice. Even if there's a chicken breast with broccoli next to it, I'm probably going to still want the pizza. It just depends on if I'm connected to my North Star, if I'm clear on my vision and my purpose and who I need to be to create life as I wish it to be, right? And so what you're going to do is you're going to read this PDF. You're going to check it out. Everything's here. So all your questions will be answered in that PDF. And then there'll be a link that we're going to share with you. You might have seen it already. And you can enter some information there. And then Andrea and I, we manually do this. So don't send this to anybody, please. Because we're not going to send it to them. We're only going to send it to our clients that are in to win it, that are serious. And we will figure out the calorie amounts and give you sample meal plans specifically for you, okay? Now, I'm putting it in the audio, so the people that listen to audio, they'll know about it. The people that don't, they probably won't know about it, because I want to know who is actually doing the work, because it helps me so much, because I'm always looking for ways to reach more people, help more people, but without me actually having to be around, right? Like, I want to work with people that help a lot of people, and that happens to be you, so thank you very much. But this, I'm really excited for you because there are other effects. One of them is energy. There will be a stage where you will have so much energy and you're eating in a way that will surprise you. And you won't understand why. And you're like, man, I need to fast all the time, because we build fasting into this. Short-term fast, not long-term fast. And so you'll have energy, but we're also not fasting for consecutive days, so that we can refuel the body and protect muscle. It's when we eat too little food for too long that we start to strip away that muscle, which slows your metabolic rate. And when you lose muscle, one, it affects how long you live. Muscle is super important for that. But what about now? Well, it's going to affect your energy. Muscle is where we make ATP. That's where we make energy. So we want to protect it. So the goal is always fat loss. It is never weight loss. A weight loss program is just getting that number to go down so you feel good about yourself, but it's a lie, because for every 10 pounds someone loses on a typical diet, on a calorie restriction diet, they lose about 6 pounds of muscle, of lean body mass, which is horrific, because now you can weigh less, but you have a higher body fat percentage because you lost muscle too. And it's the body fat percentage, your ratio of fat mass to lean body mass. And so I won't go down that rabbit hole, but you understand, right? And so what you're going to notice, this shift in energy. You're going to have consistent energy. The first week might be challenging. It depends on your mindset and the story you're telling yourself. If you're excited about it, you're focused on the outcome, but you're also focused on what you need to do today, and you're keeping score. You're like, hey, I trained. Yes. I did my North Star. Yes. I drank my water. Yes. I followed the meal plan. Yes. I am crushing it. I feel good. Like, who can I light up today? How can I serve? What can I create today? What could I do to feel more alive today? These are great questions, but whenever we're not feeling good, we're asking questions and we're telling the story of limitation, like, oh man, and we feel something in our body, and it's like, oh, I wonder what that is. Oh, remember the time I got hurt? Oh, I hope my back doesn't go out. Eventually, that stuff's going to happen. In scientific literature, that's called thought-driven physiology, which basically this whole area of study is based off of the fact that what we think about changes our biochemistry. It changes our physiology. So you can have a thought, if you're telling a story of victory, of appreciation, of love, of compassion, and you're feeling that, you're resonating that, and then you go into a story of victimhood, your blood chemistry changes. We can measure it. It's real. And I don't even know if you need to measure it. You got to be super caught up in some things, like, I only believe it if I see it, right? But we feel it. We know that. So we're not going to be perfect. And so this program is about being perfectly imperfect. 80% is greater than 100%. And I believe 80% is the way of self-mastery, because we're taught as achievers, committed achievers, right, that we're not enough unless we achieve, unless we're doing things. And there's always more to do, so we never feel fulfilled. We never feel satisfied. It's like, man, I could have done more, right? And I was the worst at this for a long time. And then I shifted from doing to first being. Who do I need to be? in order to create life as I desire to be, in order to make our world even more awesome, silently, behind the scenes, without having to do all of this interaction with humans, because that's what I prefer. That was my vision. And so I'm able to be behind the scenes and help people that help a lot of people. But you first got to know that. And when you do that, it becomes this game. And each day you're like, hey, what can we create today? Hey, what are we going to do today? Let's play. And it's so much fun. Now, does that mean you don't get off track? Of course you get off track, but you just get back on. The lamb doesn't jump in, that inner critic, that inner judge, and beat the shit out of you mentally and emotionally, verbally abuse you with your inner talk, right? And so you just get back on track. It's not a big deal. You realize, hey, part of me is human, and the other part of me is something much greater, and that's who I really am. And so I'm learning to integrate the two. That's what the game of life is about. All right, my friend, I'm going to end up talking forever because I love this stuff. But I'm really excited. I'm going to do this right alongside you guys. And so if you have any questions, hit me up. But be sure to read that PDF and be clear on what that says. Each week, I'm going to do audios, and I'm going to give you some pointers and tips. And Andrea and I will share some meal plans and stuff along the way. But also submit that form. Go to that link and submit the form. And then me and Andrea will create the meal plans for you for the right amount of calories and protein for you, okay? And I am so excited to witness your transformation. Oh, one last thing. Every year we have an annual like challenge, right? And so it's not just for this month. This is the last 4 weeks, and then we submit your results and your stories. And so we pick a winner, and then we have prizes. One prize that Tony gave us is 4 nights as his guest at Namali. And so it's a really great gift. It's a really expensive gift. And so the last couple winners, Scott Neal and Dr. Angela, of course, Cameron, have both had incredible transformation. So I'm really excited to see. But your results from the entire past year are in. So it's based on 3 things. 1, did you follow the plan? Did you log the train sessions? Or, because if you're doing something random, no one's ever won if they do random stuff. Because random actions produce random, usually no results whatsoever. Because there's a science to this. So 1, did you log the workouts? Did you follow the plan? That's one part of this score. The second part is your actual results. What did you overcome? What did you achieve? Okay, so I lost this much fat, gained this much muscle. Or maybe it's like, hey, I got a client had back pain for their entire lives and doesn't have it anymore. That's one of the greatest ones ever, because I witnessed what it impacted on their work, on their family. Because when you love someone, they're in pain all the time, you feel it too. And it was such a healing experience. That was such a great story. It made my day. And so it could be something like that. Or you couldn't do a push-up, and now you can do 10 push-ups, like full bore push-ups. These are little things that make a big difference, because what I'm looking for is the last part too. The story of success, the story of triumph. I don't want to be the hero. I don't want to be the face of all this. I want other people that are living it to inspire others to do the same. Like, hey, wow, all these people are doing it. I think I can do it too. That's what we're trying to say, because anyone can do this. It's simple when you know how it works, but it's really complicated until you learn that, because there's so much misinformation out there. So what you have is the treasure map. And that treasure map requires you to accept the call to adventure. And that means it's going to be challenging each day. It's not going to be easy, but I promise you it is worth it. So stay tuned, keep checking the messages, and we're going to do this. I'm so excited. No lambs, only lions. You tap into the real you. But you have to retrain yourself. The way you retrain yourself is you wake your ass up in the morning and you say, I am here for a reason and a purpose. And it's bigger than my moods. It's bigger than the difficulties of the day. I am here to live like a lion, not the fear of a lamb.